Hello, my name is Dr. Chris Sloan, and I'm going to be teaching the Read 5375 course, the Reading Assessments course, this semester. This will be the summer semester, and I wanted to welcome everybody to the course. I'm going to spend a little bit of time going over the syllabus and the contact ways to get a hold of me during the summer, that type of thing. We're going to be spending quite a bit of time together. There are going to be some Zoom sessions that we'll be working on together as a class. We'll get together through virtually. I do want to let you know I'm currently working on converting the course from a hybrid face-to-face and online to fully online, which I know some of you have expressed that that's something that you wanted, which is great. We're actually working on making the entire reading specialist program fully online. That's my goal. I'm also in charge of the Reading Specialist program. I'm based in the Stephenville, on the Stephenville campus. I'm in the Howell building, room 308, but I probably won't be here much this summer. So I'm going to give you my contact information. I think what I'll do is go ahead and share my screen with you, and we'll jump right to the syllabus and kind of cover some basics on that. I can find it here. There it is. All right, so this is the syllabus for the course. We're going to talk about just the general stuff right now on the syllabus. We'll get into the specifics in a separate session as far as what will be taught in what week. So as I said, my name is Dr. Chris Sloan. I'm in the E.J. Howell building, room 308. Here's my contact information. Actually, this campus phone is not going to be the way to get a hold of me because I don't plan on being in my office much this summer. So if you'll email me, and I'll be checking this regularly, it's my email address on the campus is sloan@tarleton.edu. And this helpful website right here is actually Dr. James Gentry's website. He's another professor in the reading group that does a lot of the reading courses. And he's actually the one who developed this course, and it's his course that I'm actually modifying for to convert to online. We will be doing, as it says here, as far as course meeting times and days, we'll be doing 2 3 to 4 hour Zoom meetings once the course is started. You're also going to do a case study presentation at the end, and actually have a date for that already. We'll get to that later. And you're going to be doing a presentation on a reading assessment tool, hopefully that is used in your school. But if not, you can pick a different reading assessment tool, and you'll be talking about the pros and cons of that tool, how you use it, and either demonstrating or finding a video where that's demonstrated so that when you present it, you can show how that's used. I think I'm going to let you read all this other stuff on your own as far as the goal for the program and the university catalog description of the course. Hopefully you already read that before you took the course and signed up for it. I know for most of you this is a mandatory course. I understand a lot of you are doing the Ed Diag or Special Ed Curriculum Instruction degree. And just a little bit of background about myself. I do not have background in special ed other than my wife is a special ed teacher and taught it for a long time. At some point in the course, maybe I'll share some details about my transformation to being very special ed focused and oriented, but my dissertation was actually about the effects of the state testing on the self-efficacy of special ed students with special needs, and did quite a bit of research on that. So I'm not a special ed teacher by trade, but I have that heart, and so I'll just give you that background about myself to start off. I'm going to let you also read the intended student outcomes. Now, one of the things that I did want to talk about is on this page, the resources. You do need to get the gunning text if you have not already gotten that. You're actually going to need it in this first week of the course because there's 2 chapters that you really can't do the modules for this course without the actual gunning text. The other text that is a must-have for this course is the Eckwall-Shanker reading inventory. It's now Shanker and Cochran that are doing the new editions of that course. But you're going to have to build a kit, an assessment kit, and that's part of the case study portion of this course is actually building the Eckwall-Schenker Reading Inventory Kit. The book itself, the Eckwall-Schenker book itself, kind of gives you an idea of how to do that, but we've actually, Dr. Gentry and I have actually put together a really good, there's a link to it here in just a minute, a really good step-by-step how to build the kit, put it together. You don't have to build yours exactly like that. You will have to upload photos of it once you're finished, and that's going to be due after this first week. So that's going to be something in addition. I did send out an email early, early this week, I think, but prior to the course beginning, that allowed you to start on that ahead of time. So I'll go over a few of the things that you're going to need for the kit. You're definitely going to need copy paper and access to a copier, because you're going to have to copy things straight out of the book. And that book is designed actually for you to do that. You don't have to worry about copyright or anything. When you buy the book, you have the authorization to use the different tests and make copies of the tests that are in it. You also need 110 weight cardstock to make, you can use, actually, when I built my first kit, I used 3x5 cards and hand wrote the 220 sight words that are part of one of the test 2, I believe it is. I actually hand did mine, my flashcards. I actually sent you an email that had those flashcards. I actually typed every one of the words up and put them on a flashcard that you can print onto cardstock, cut, and make your own sets. And I kind of gave you an idea of how to do that. It is actually spelled out in the instructions that I'll show you the link to in just a minute. Anyway, another thing that you're going to want is a letter-sized plastic or cloth-filled or cloth-sided file box. And there's some online, I gave you some links to some examples of those, what that looks like. Hanging file folders you'll need that'll go in there to organize your different tests. You'll want some manila file folders to put each of the copies of the tests in. And then I recommend a box of the 1-inch book rings. They're the smaller rings for use for the flashcard organization. This is the link I was talking about, and it may say you may have to make a copy of it. Just go ahead and click. When you click on this, if it asks you to make a copy, go ahead and click on making a copy of it. It'll open up. It takes it may take a second or two to load up, but this will give you the instructions on how to step-by-step build your kit. Again, the kit is necessary. Please do not use the book for the one case study. To me, you spent the money that I want to say it's $100 and something for that book. If you spent the money on the book, build a kit so that you can reuse the book over and over again. Don't write in the book and fill out the forms in the book, because you won't be able to use them again on other students. I have used the Eckwall-Schenker Reading Inventory on probably 100 students in the times that I've been as a teacher, and even as a principal. When I was a principal, I also used the Eckwall-Schenker kit, and I fully believe that it can do, I've seen it work, diagnosed down to specific phoneme or phonemic issues, phonics issues, comprehension issues, and really actually pinpoint the problems that some students are having. We just built this kit in an undergraduate course that I taught, Read 3384, and the kit is just the way it works. The students were amazed at the things that they found out about their struggling, the students who they were working with, which were all struggling readers. All right, let me go ahead and go on. This statement, I have added this quantity of work statement to the syllabus only because as I was building the course, I'm converting a 16-week course down to an 8-week course. And if you think about that for a minute, one of the requirements in a face-to-face course is about a 3-hour class a week. And then the expectation at the graduate level is about 2 to 3 hours of homework that are associated with that. That's in a normal 16-week course. This course is 16 weeks condensed down to now 8 weeks. And we're gonna plow through the work that needs to be done. But if the expectation is typically 6 hours a week, or even let's just say 5, and we're actually condensing it down 16 weeks worth of work down to 8, then the expectation would be about 10 hours. And that's a lot. And I know some of you are working. I will tell you a little bit about myself again. I did all my degrees, undergraduate, master's, and my PhD while I was working full time. And so I do understand the demands that being, one, a parent of children, two, being a non-traditional student have on your time and the effort that you can put forth. But the other side of that is this. I fully believe in the value of this course for your career that you're going into at DIAGS or special ed. I also believe, as for reading specialists, that this course is one of the most valuable courses. I'm actually going to be looking for your feedback at the end, maybe even midway through the course, as to what you feel are the positives and negatives, things that you don't see as that are of value of the course. But I've looked through the course, the textbook, and everything else that we're going to be doing, and I really feel like this course is going to help you and being able to assess students' reading problems. All right. So anyway, I've added this statement. Basically, it sums up what I just said about cramming 16 weeks down into 8, and that's the requirements a lot. One of the things I do say is I don't recommend that you take this course in the 8-week semester along with another graduate level course unless you have the time to dedicate to more than one condensed course, because this one is going to be pretty hot and heavy. All right. Writing is another thing I do want to talk about a little bit. There is an expectation in this course and in the other graduate courses that you be able to write well. That's grammar, punctuation, mechanics of writing, as well as writing in the APA format. If you're unfamiliar with the APA format, I do ask that you take a look at it. You may want to get the APA manual, the style guide. If you think that might be helpful to you, there are the citation machine is another one that is online, and there's some other online ones. There's some free citation generators that will generate your citations for you, but you do need to know how to do in-text and full citations at the end of everything that you're writing. That's the expectation. If somebody else has written something that you're using, then I do ask that you cite them. That's what we're supposed to do. And especially in the field of education, we need to give credit where it's due. All right. I don't know why I have a blank page there, but I do. All right. So let's talk about what you're going to be doing during the course. And this is a broad outline. We will talk more about the specifics, like I said, in another video that I'm going to do shortly. The assessment components and course requirements. Here we go. And there'll be a calendar at the end that's going to step you through everything. I'm trying to set up Blackboard in a modular format where you do 1 to 2 modules a week. If it were in the 16-week course, it'd be 1 module a week. In the 8-week course, we're going to be doing 2 of those modules each week. All right, so the first one is the case study, and we're going to do something that's called a learner assessment profile. We got this, the LAP is what we call it. We got the LAP from another university. It's cited on the actual LAP, and that is the format or the form you'll be using to document all the information, the assessment data that you're going to be collecting on the student you'll be working with in this 8-week semester. You do need to secure, if you haven't already, secure a student to work with this week. And I need a permission slip by the end of the week saying you've got a parent permission to do that. Now, it can be your own child. It can be a relative. I'm not worried about that type of thing. But it does need somebody that you have access to fairly regularly so that you can do this testing. Here's another thing I want to throw out there for you. Anybody who's ever done testing before, state testing, any benchmarking kind of assessments, and you're all educators, so I know that most of you have done those types of things, or if you've done diagnostic work in the field, you know that when you set a child down initially with testing, there's a little bit of nervousness. There's also some apprehension, and if you go long enough, you actually skew the results of the testing because they get tired, they wear out, and it really doesn't give you, the test's not going to give you actually good results. So what I recommend is you schedule a couple sessions a week. And I'm gonna break the sessions down enough to where that will be enough. 2 sessions a week would be enough time for you to spend about an hour with the student in each of those sessions, collect the data, and then go back and write it up afterwards. I also want to give you another recommendation. Do not video record. There's no need to. And typically parents who have problems with video recording will not have a problem with audio recording. It's something about their student or their child being the picture part of their child being there. And especially when you tell them that the audio recordings are for your use only, that I'm not going to listen to them and you're not going to share them with anybody else. But I do recommend audio recording all your sessions that you have with the student. It gives you the opportunity to go back and listen to things. You don't have to have the student repeat something while they're in the middle of an assessment. You can go back and listen to what they did, and especially when you're doing the running records, which you'll be doing several running records with this student. At any rate, you need to get a child that's between, and I'll go down, I think I put 4th through 8, but I'll actually take it down to 3rd. 2nd grade, you could actually go as low as 2nd grade, but we're looking for somebody who's a struggling reader. And it's kind of hard sometimes at 2nd grade to find it, to know that there's actually a struggle there, because developmentally they may not be in that place yet where they're reading fluently. But so I would say 3rd grade, and there are readers who are struggling at 10th grade. But I don't want to go too high with it, because a lot of the assessments that we'll be doing range low. The Eckel-Schenker is and we'll get into this, I think this week. It's either this week or next. We'll get into the difference between bottom up and top down. The Eckel-Schenker is definitely a bottom up type of assessment, where we start with the one words, the sight words they know, and we work up to running records where we see their fluency and time their rate of reading and their prosody and those types of things. As opposed to say the QRI-6 or one of the other assessment tools that are top down, where they start with the reading and work their way down to pinpointing the problem. Both of those, I will tell you, both of those tools are great. They both work well, those types of tools. But I like the Eckel-Schenker because it's a simpler model and it's pretty easy to follow. The manual gives you step-by-step on how to use it. We'll be doing that in sessions. So anyway, so that's the case study in a very broad nutshell. We will get into the weeds on the case study in great detail about how you'll do each session, what each session entails, walking you through each one of the assessments that you're going to be doing. So actually, don't worry about that. The case study is not that difficult to do. The write-up is kind of where it's key. Again, quality of writing. I will give you this hint. Sections 1 and 2 of the LAP need to be written, 1 in past tense, because you've already done the case study by the time you're writing it, and 2 need to be, because it's a formal write-up, they actually need to be, it needs to be, take all the personal pronouns out. It's very clinical in its statement. Part 3 is your observations and recommendations. That's where you can start telling how you feel about things that happen and your insights, based, of course, on sound research-based best practices as far as recommendations go. But that's where you'll make your recommendations as well. All right, let me go on down here. Say right here, get written permission from parents. That's key, unless you're the parent, in which case permission would be implied, but I do need to know that you have permission to do it. Let's see. This actually goes over the guidelines of the LAP, and I don't know how we got this down to 9, but there's a lot more detail that will go into this once we get started with the course. All right. Okay, so the Blackboard and online modules, I've broken down this. So the LAP is worth 20 points of the course. It's a 100-point course overall. There's 45 points for the online modules, discussion boards, chapter quizzes, article reviews, that type of stuff, which there's going to be a considerable amount of writing with the case study and with the modules that we'll be doing. Because it's the graduate level course, writing is a key component of the coursework. And I will, here's a pledge I'll make to you. If you write it, I'll read it. And with, I believe, 20 of you in the course, that's going to be a lot on my plate. But I truly believe that that you need to be practice, especially if you're going to be going into the diag world. But even as educators, we need to practice the writing, the professional writing that we do once we get into the graduate level coursework. So all the quizzes and that type of stuff, I will tell you this, the chapter quizzes are multiple choice. They're 10-question quizzes. The answers are directly stated in the text, so they're very explicit type questions. I don't want you to sweat those. You have an hour and 2 attempts. The quizzes are not a huge deal. What I really want you to focus on is when we do the writing, discussion boards and the reflection pieces, where I ask you to write about something. I'm looking for something more than 1 or 2 lines when I'm asking you. If I took the time to type up 1 or 2 lines to ask you to write about something, I'm looking for a few paragraphs at least on most of the stuff I'm asking for. Not a yes or no, or if I ask you, do you like this assessment tool? I'm not looking for a yes or no answer. I'm looking for yes, I love this assessment tool, and here's why. And here's some of the challenges I see using this assessment tool, and this is why I think this other piece might go with that piece and actually complement that assessment tool. Those types of things. So that's the kind of responses I'm looking for. There are going to be some online discussion boards, and let me give you my my rules on that, if you want to call it that, or policy. But basically, you need to have your initial post finished and posted the day before the day of the assignment is due, so that other people have the opportunity to respond, because you'll be responding to 2 others. Make sure that you do the responses to 2 other people's posts so that you can get the grade, because it won't even show up for me to grade unless you've done 3, your initial post and 2 responses. On the responses, here's something else I'm not looking for. And I've just seen it enough to go ahead and say this. I'm not looking for, oh, great job, I really like what you said about such and such. That's my job. I'll be doing that portion of the responses. What I'm looking for you is to add to the discussion with collegiate dialogue. When you're responding to someone else, cite your source. Hey, I do like what you said about such and such, and here's why. And then describe in detail, add to the conversation. And your initial post is going to be fairly lengthy. Your responses are not going to be as long. That's not the expectation. However, they're not 2 to 3 sentences either, not at this level. So add back to the conversation. I'm not sure how many discussion boards we'll have yet. I'm still working on that piece, but I have the first one plugged in, and by now it's up and running if you're watching this video. So take a look at that and kind of see where I'm going with it, and make sure that you respond accordingly. I like you, want my students to be successful. I want all of you to be successful in this course. That's why I'm going to make myself as available as possible. I'm going to have some online office hours. Actually, I think I posted those on the first page as I was going through and didn't tell you what they were, but it'll be Tuesdays for 2 hours and Thursdays for an hour. But I'm also going to be available by appointment whenever you need to. I like Zoom. That's actually what I'm using to record this session right now. All right, let's go on down. So that's the online modules. It's worth 45 points, and I don't actually have all the points set up yet, but I will. And but it will be that those portions of the course will be worth 45 points. And this part here talks about the time that we'll be meeting, the times that we'll be meeting. The LAP case study presentations will be on July 6th at 4:30 p.m. We will continue through those until they're finished. And I think I came up somewhere down here. It's going to talk about when you're going to present the reading assessment tool. When you do that, and I have the date down here and the time, it will also be a Thursday at 4:30. We're going to continue until the entire class has finished their presentations. And we'll actually be doing some peer evaluations of those presentations when we do that one. All right, let's move down here to the Blackboard Reading Assessment Tool. Well, here it is right here, actually. This is the Blackboard Online Reading Assessment Tool Preparation module and YouTube presentation. All right, so this is the part right here where you're going to present the assessment tool. And that could be one that's used at your school or one that you pick online. It doesn't matter, but you have to have access to the tool so that you can actually show us how it's used in your video. Looking at 10 to 15 minutes explanation, not a really long explanation. You will peer review each other on that. What we're looking at, you can upload, there's two options that I want you to use for this. Either upload to a unlisted YouTube video, or if you have a Google Drive and you can put the link to the video on Google Drive. What that does is if you're actually assessing a student, because of FERPA, it will limit the access to the video to just the students in this class. All right. And this is a simple simplification of what you'll be doing, but you're going to name the assessment tool, tell us why you chose it, how does it help the student, explain in writing how it's used, and then you're going to show an example of it in use. This is the part of the video that you're going to sit down either with a student or somehow find a video of the use of that tool. All right. Any unbiased research support of the tool, and then also, actually it's okay to use biased research, but you need to let us know that the research that you used was biased towards a tool. Most of these research or assessment tools, the company that makes them have all kinds of research that shows how great they are because they're selling it to you. Anyway, that's another thing that you can throw in there. All right. I also give 5 points for professionalism, and I give it at the beginning of the course. The way you lose those points, and I haven't decided quite on the increments yet and how that'll happen, but if you didn't show up for the Zoom meeting that we had, all-class Zoom meeting, if you didn't turn in assignments, if you respond to others unprofessionally in the discussion forums or online, those are all things that you can lose professional points for. There's only 5 of them, but it's 5 out of 100, so that's half a letter grade. I'm not expecting to take any of these from anyone, but again, if you miss an assignment, unprofessional online etiquette, or failure to participate, that's potentially where those points would come from. We are going to have a mid-semester and a final exam. Initially, or previously, the final exam was comprehensive. It will not be comprehensive in this course. I will know by the midterm exam whether or not you actually know what you need to know up to the midpoint. And then I will know by the final exam if you know from the midpoint to the end. These will be also multiple choice straight from the textbook. So this is an assessment over the knowledge that you gain from the textbook. And I believe they're going to be 50, just to kind of give you a heads up, 50 questions. I think you get 3 hours, but 1 attempt. Whereas on the quizzes, I give you 2 attempts to get the highest grade possible. On the mid-semester and final exam, there'll be 1 attempt, 3 hours at a shot. All right. So my grading scale, this kind of breaks down, down here, it kind of breaks down where we, what I just went over, but in a much briefer paragraph. And then the grading works like this. 90 to 100 is an A. 80 to less than 90 is a B. 70 to less than 80 is a C. And I don't think hopefully we don't need to worry about the rest of that. But I don't round up. If it's an 89.95, it is a B. Just so you know ahead of time. All right. You do need to turn in all work for the course. There are some assignments that you can't go back and redo. That would be chapter quizzes and things like that. If you miss them, you miss them. And those are not the ones I'm talking about. The key assignments for the course, the case study, and the videos that you have to produce, those types of things. In order to actually get credit for the course, you do have to complete those things. All right. I am going to just quickly go over the rest of this. This is on every other syllabus that you have gone over in Tarleton, if you've been a student for a long time. If you're a new student to Tarleton, by the way, welcome. It's the best university in Texas, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And yes, I'm not an alum. So I say that because I actually believe it. I am thrilled to be a part of this faculty and a part of the teacher education program here at Tarleton. And welcome if you're new. If you've been with us for a long time, again, this is all stuff that you can read on your own. I don't want to insult your intelligence, but I also believe that you've seen it all before. If you do have Blackboard issues, please contact the Blackboard Help Desk. That part's right here. There's a couple assignments you will use Turnitin on Blackboard to turn in. Because it's online, we're going to be using Blackboard pretty exclusively, and I'll be working with you through any struggles or problems that we're going to have in that area. All right. Okay. What I don't want to get into yet is the week. So I will talk about week 1. And then I'm going to do a separate video for weeks 2 through 8 because I don't have them completed yet. But what I will talk about is week 1 right now. You're going to be reading chapters 1 and 14 of the Gunning text. You're also going to read sections 1 and 2, and they're not very long, of the Eckwall-Schenker text. There are quizzes for all of those. They're, again, 10-question, multiple choice. Shouldn't take you very long to get those knocked out. There are some modules 1 and 2, that go with chapters 1 and 14, respectively. I do need you to finish those modules in this first week. And you're going to build your kit, if you haven't built it already, the Eckwall-Schenker kit. So that's week 1. And you don't need to do any assessment of a student yet in week 1. We're going to start that in week 2. I want you to finish all the assessment. It's going to be tough, but we're going to get it done in weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which gives you 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, to compile your case study and put that together and make sure that we have a really good product. The end goal of this is to provide the parent or teacher, future teacher for a student maybe next year, a product that they can look at that has strategies, research-based, best practice strategies that will work to help this student be a better reader. And isn't that always our goal? To help our students be better at whatever they have a deficiency in. And I know if you're in special ed, or if you're going to be an ed diag, you've probably seen quite a bit already. My heart is for students who are struggling. That is my heart and my passion, and we got to help them in every way we can. A lot of them didn't choose to have that struggle, but we can do everything we can to support them through it. Anyway, we will talk more in a different video on the specifics of weeks 2 through 8. For now, I just want to say welcome to the course. If you do have any questions, if I missed something, please shoot me an email. And what I can do is like throw a video together real quick using Zoom, or I may just send out an email to everybody. Hey, I got an email from somebody. They had a question. I think this question applies to a lot of you, so here it is. Please communicate. I think communication in online coursework is the key. And so I will be like I said, I'll be checking my email often. I did not give you guys my cell phone, and I'm debating on that. I think I may end up doing that. It just depends. We're going to check out how the email correspondence goes first, and then we'll see how it goes as far as the cell phone passing out my number. I don't typically do that in my undergraduate courses, but I think in an online course I might need to be able to do some verbal, on the phone type stuff. But at any rate, I want to welcome you to the course and just say hello, and we will talk to you in another video very soon.